Now, I didn't want all the videos on my channel to kind of circle around piercing themes, but at the moment all the ideas that I'm getting are all about my piercings. And I've had my tongue piercing done for a little while now. It's all completely fully healed and I've had some time to get used to it. And I found that there are quite a few things that either I can't do anymore or I can't do easily anymore because of it. And I'll start off by saying things that you can't do just during the healing process that eventually you can then start to do. And then I'll get on to things that you still can't do even when your tongue piercing is fully healed. For things only limited to the healing process, first of all, I wasn't able to drink from straws. Obviously, when you drink from straws, then it purses your tongue, and I wasn't able to do that. One, I think it was due to the bar, because when you first get it done, obviously you've got a long bar in it, and that restricted a lot. And because of the fact that my tongue was that swollen, I just couldn't really do that comfortably or without a lot of pain anyway. So everything that I drank, I had to drink without a straw or anything like that. Another thing I couldn't do, it's a bit gross, but another thing that I couldn't do was after eating, normally you'd use your tongue to kind of clean out your teeth, you know, if you've got some food stuck in there, if you've eaten crisps or anything like that. I couldn't actually do that whilst my tongue was healing, and that is something it's kind of in the middle of what I can and can't do now. I can do it now, but sometimes the bar will get in the way, so you can't properly reach right back to clean out your mouth with your tongue. It's a bit gross. But you can't do it as easily, just because the metal will kind of get in the way. And possibly the most annoying, I couldn't chew food at a normal rate. I got to the point where I could eat solid foods, and I was doing that pretty much from day one, because I don't like soup or anything like that. But I had to do it very, very slowly. Just because if I went too fast, I really, really risked either really hurting my tongue bar or straight up biting it, because it's a long bar as well. So I risked chewing right down onto the bar because it was just right there all the time. And when you're chewing food, even if you're chewing it in the side of your mouth, you probably don't realise, but you use your tongue to move that food to the side of your mouth and to then chew it. So when you're chewing the food, because your tongue is slightly to the side, when you've got the long bar in, the bar will be sticking out to the side where you're chewing. So if you don't go carefully, you can bite down onto the bar quite easily. And you also have to get used to the fact that there is something permanently solid in your mouth, which normally you're used to being food. So you instinctively think, oh, I need to bite on that because it's food. And you do learn to differentiate between, because after a while you don't really notice it's there anymore, and you do learn, oh, that's food, I need to chew on that, oh, that's my bar, I don't need to chew on that. You do learn that fairly quickly. It doesn't get in the way of the eating as much as I thought it would. I don't really notice it's there 99% of the time. But it is still the occasional thing where you'll bite on it and think, oh god, I just bit on the bar. I also couldn't at any point stick out my tongue. I could, but when I did, when I stuck out my tongue, my barbell would actually get stuck when I was trying to put my tongue back in my mouth, because it was quite long and your tongue was swollen. So if I was to stick my tongue out, the bar at the bottom would get caught on my teeth when I was trying to put my tongue back in my mouth, so I had to lift up my tongue and my bar to get it back in my mouth. Another issue whilst you're healing that for me personally I was able to do again once it had healed is rolling your tongue. Now some people can't do this anyway, you either can or you can't, but if you can, during the healing process, because your tongue is so swollen, and because the bar is so long, and I think it's really the bar that's the issue, you can't roll your tongue. You can't actually do that whilst it's healing, or whilst you have a long bar in it in general. And I think with a lot of these issues, it depends where you got it pierced on your tongue, how high up, how far down. Mine's slightly diagonal from the side. You can tell it's pierced slightly more forward underneath than it is at the top, and that's because I have a very, very short tongue and I can't stick my tongue out very far, so that's the way that we had to do it. And it also depends on what length bar you have in it. A lot of these that I can now do, I wouldn't be able to do if I were to go back to a long bar, regardless of the fact that it's now healed. And then on to some things that I continue to not be able to do, or not be able to do easily. The first being eating sweets comfortably. I can eat sweets. I think I would have taken it out if I couldn't eat sweets. I basically live off sweets. But I can eat sweets. But when I do, sticky things, because it's metal in your mouth, sticky things can quite often get stuck onto the metal, which is fine. You can obviously just pick it off or it will come off on its own. But it's quite annoying, and you have to be a little bit careful when chewing really sticky things or really, really chewy sweets because of it. Now this next one I actually find really funny myself. I find it quite humorous. It was really, really annoying at first, and it was a bit concerning at first, but it's funny to me now. Eating anything that's round, like Cheerios. I imagine it's the same with like spaghetti hoops, anything that's in a circle, that kind of size. You have to be careful when you're eating it, because the hoops can actually get caught around the bar. Because obviously they're circles, they will go over the bar and then you're either going to lift them off or kind of like, they'll come off on their own, but you can get Cheerios and stuff hooped around your barbell. I still eat them. I actually eat them more because I find it funny when it happens, but it's just something you might need to watch out for. And then licking ice creams you have to be careful with, because you may think, well, I suppose it depends on how you lick them, but I imagine with most people it's the same sort of thing, where you will lick an ice cream with the flat of your tongue, as opposed to the very, very tip of your tongue, so you'd lick it with that part. And obviously, so you'd lick it with that flat part, where obviously your bar now is. So you can lick ice creams, but when you do, if you lick it like you normally would with the flat of your tongue, not only will you end up with a line in the ice cream where the bar has dragged over it, often the bar will make contact with the ice cream or whatever food it is that you're licking before your tongue does, or your tongue won't be able to touch it at all because the bar's in the way, and all you end up with is like a line in your food, and it can snag on your bar quite a bit. So you learn to have to use the tip of your tongue for licking things like ice creams, because the bar will just get there before your tongue does and stop your tongue. It just blocks your tongue from being able to lick anything. Okay, now this one isn't really much of an issue for myself, because I've never been able to do it, so obviously I wouldn't know the difference. I can still whistle normally, where you kind of purse your lips and whistle. Like that. I can't do it very well. I've never been able to do it very well. It's not really much of a difference. But apparently if you can whistle by kind of putting your fingers in your mouth and doing a proper whistle, apparently you can't do that anymore. My brother actually has his tongue pierced, and he says he can't do that anymore since getting it done. I don't know if that would be the same for everyone. Obviously I don't have any experience with that, but apparently you can't properly whistle as well. One of the saddest ones for me, and that I didn't realise would be an issue, is I can't actually blow bubbles anymore with chewing gum. If I do manage to blow one, it'll be a very, very small one, because obviously the way that you blow bubbles with chewing gum is you spread out the chewing gum in your mouth, and then you obviously put it between your teeth, and you use your tongue to push the chewing gum forward and then blow it up. And that barbell just either rips through the gum before you're able to make it into a bubble, or rips into it within seconds of it becoming a bubble, or it just gets in the way so you can't actually blow it into a bubble. I'll try and show that. I've basically captured about 3 minutes worth of me chewing gum on my webcam. No, I can't do it anymore. If I do, I can sometimes get a little bit of a bubble, but I can't do it. So let me know down in the comments if you agree with my list, if you think there's more that I need to add on to it, because I've not had it done all that long, so I'm sure there's going to be other things that I'm going to find. Or if you think that I'm full of crap and you can still do all these things. Also, I'd just like to bring attention to my earrings. I don't know if anyone's going to get this reference because no one seems to know about this game but me. These are portal earrings. He's going from one earring into the other one. I just think that's great. Thank you for watching.